So now I would like to move on to our program, and we'll have the president of the Berry Company, Jim Berry, introduce our speaker. Jim?
Thank you, past President Dan. Today I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker, Kevin Wheeler, Chairman and CEO of A.O. Smith. Kevin was named Chairman of A.O. Smith Corporation Board of Directors on May 1, 2020, and Chief Executive Officer on September 1, 2018. He has responsibility for the company's global business, as well as strategy, development, and implementation, profitability, and shareholder returns. Prior to becoming Chairman and CEO, Kevin was President and Chief Operating Officer from June 2017 and was responsible for A.O. Smith's global water heater and boiler operations, as well as its global water treatment business. He also oversaw the company's global research and information technology functions. Kevin was elected to the A.O. Smith Board of Directors in July 2017. Kevin joined A.O. Smith in 1994 as a regional sales manager for the former Water Products Company. In 1999, he was named Managing Director of A.O. Smith Water Products Company, headquartered in Veldhoven, the Netherlands. In that role, he was responsible for the company's water heater business in Europe and in the Middle East. He returned to the U.S. in 2004 to serve as Vice President International with responsibility for all European and Asian operations. During this time, the company expanded its business in China and began evaluation of the India residential water heater market. Kevin is a member of the Manufacturers Alliance Board of Trustees. He has served as chairman and an at-large director of the Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration Institute. He is a director of Graco, Inc. He is a graduate of the University of Nevada, Reno, and the Advanced Management Program at Harvard University. Let's give Kevin Wheeler a warm Rotary welcome.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here. Thanks. I didn't know I did all those things, but that's pretty impressive. All right, I like it. How many people in this room know A.O. Smith Corporation? Oh, geez, okay. Well, we've called Milwaukee home for 150 years. And so what I was going to do today is just give you a little history about our company. We went through a transformational time about 30 years ago. Maybe just touch base what we're doing today and what manufacturing looks like today compared to what it did just a while back. Sound like a plan? So you took some of my, Tom, you took some of my presentation, but that's okay. We'll be okay. There's our founder. And as a young man in his 20s, he was in England. And he decided that he wanted to go to America and have the American dream. So him and his brother got on a sailboat like that, and they were headed for New York City. That's where everything was happening. And so you might wonder, how did we get to Milwaukee? Well, there happens to be a young lady on that boat named Mercy Johnson, who he took kindly to. And guess where she was going? She was going to Milwaukee. So he pulled his brother aside and convinced him that Milwaukee was way better than New York. And they made their way to Milwaukee. Good news, a few years later, they were married. Charles was more of a machinist, worked with metal, started his own business, and then a long time after that, he worked for the railroad company. But one of the things, he got fed up with the railroad company because they didn't take care of the machinery the way he thought it should be done. So he quit and went back home and said, I'm going to start my own business. And he founded C.J. Smith and Sons, who you were just talking about. Two of his sons joined him, Charles and George. And they started out making just bits and pieces of metal. And then there was a big need for buggies for children and so forth. So they started to make parts and so forth for carriages. And then they're really good at bending metal and welding metal. And there was this new thing coming along called the bicycle. And so they found an opportunity there because they could roll metal and make it much lighter. They were providing parts and pieces to bicycle manufacturers across the United States. And did that in 1895. They were the U.S. largest bicycle parts business in the United States and doing really well. So then that goes along for a while. And then there's this new contraption that comes out called the horseless carriage. And that was really kind of digging into the bicycle business. And so his son, he was doing really well, and then he had to expand. And his son, who lived in Chicago, was an architect, and they needed to build a new building. So he asked his son, Arthur Oliver Smith, to come back and do a project and build this new facility. And then they asked him to build one more, and he was here for so long, he just decided to stay in the business. And as he took over the business, he saw this opportunity where they were really good at making metal and bending metal, that the automobile industry was going to be the future. So he decided to make car frames. And he did it better than most people out there. So in 1902, I think they took their first order for a car frame. And in that picture up there, that 1906, that's A.O. Smith with Henry Ford. And Henry Ford came over and said, I need you to build thousands of car frames for me. And took an order for several thousand car frames from Henry Ford and didn't know how to build them yet. So as we go along here, he starts to provide car frames and starts to build on that. And unfortunately, he passed away at a fairly early age at 50 years old. And his son takes over, Lloyd Raymond. And Lloyd was an entrepreneur as well, and was the designer of the mechanical marvel up there. And what that was, the vision was, Henry Ford wanted 10,000 frames a day. And so he didn't know how to do that. So we got together and over the next few years, put together that mechanical marvel there that was designed to have no people running it. It was just going to be pressing a button and it would just pop out frames all the time. And so he failed. He, in his eyes, because he had 5 people on the line and was all said and done. But at its peak, that machinery there made 10,000 frames a day. And before it was tired, it made 25 million frames for the automobile industry. So as we keep going forward, though, we're really good at bending metal. And throughout the years, we're inventors of the coated welding rod. You can see the pressure vessels. We helped connect the gas piping in America, in oil. Found a way to put pipe and actually weld it on site. And we were the first to process what we call glass lining. And being all from Milwaukee, we're pretty good at making beer up here. But you don't want beer that has metal taste to it. So they invented the glass lining, which was help with the beer industry. It eventually led into water heaters. And you can see electric motors. And one of the things I'm still most proud of, and I know you see this as you drive around Wisconsin, you see these nice blue silos up there. And they're nice dark blue, and there's an American flag on them. And those are our harvester structures that the Smith family made that with the same type of technology. And it's something that continues to be out there every day as you're driving around. You drive down a road, make a left, you're going to run into a structure. So the business was doing really great. Another generation took over, Lloyd Bruce Smith, and move along, kept making the different products. We were in and out of businesses. We made elevators one point in time. We did software. I don't know how we did that. And but what happened is we hit a point in 1996 as an organization that we had to make some big decisions. And at that time, this is what A.O. Smith looked like. And we were heavy in automotive, as I said, in making frames. And you can see the other businesses there. And had these other businesses called water heaters and motors. And but at that time, the automobile manufacturers were looking for a larger tier one suppliers, and they were very difficult to deal with. And at that time, after 100 years of making, almost 100 years of making frames, the Smith family decided that they needed to divest some of their businesses. And so you got to remember, A.O. Smith and Lloyd are in the Automobile Hall of Fame. So the decision to do that was a very big decision. Took a business and cut it more than half, sold off a couple other products, and left just water heaters and motors for A.O. Smith. So 1.6 billion or 600 million now. What are we going to do with that? And we started to look at how we're going to transform the business. This is where we were, and we made several acquisitions. We decided we were going to grow the motor business. We grew the water heater business and moved that business up to $2.3 billion as a company. Felt really pretty good about this. And keep in mind, you heard in my bio, I started in 1994. So I'm not there a year, and next thing you know, half the business is gone. I'm going, well, that was a good move. I'm not sure that's going to work out for me right now, but okay. But the bottom line is we were there, and we hit another crossroads. We're at the 2010, we're at that $2.2 billion, and there was a lot of consolidation going on in the motor business. Some people were getting out. We determined as a company we had to get larger or get out. We tried to get larger and lost in several of the bids. So we exited that business as well, cut the business in half, virtually again. Bought a boiler company. You mentioned that we were in the boiler business. And moved to what we call a water technology company. And as we looked at it, right at the same time there, we had purchased a water treatment company in China that made RO systems. And we were in China for a number of years here, and we had 1.4 billion people that couldn't drink their water safely. We thought that was a pretty good idea to go into that business. And so we started entering water treatment. We're in China. We have our boiler business. Water heaters are doing really well. And we take the final step to get us to where we're at today. And that's what our water treatment business looked like back in 2013. And it's a little under $600 million today. And we did that through acquisitions. We mentioned in the bio that we entered India. Again, there's another 1.4 billion people that couldn't drink the water. And so as we looked at this, what do we do today? We heat and treat water. We make sure you have clean, sanitized water, and we make sure you have clean, safe water to drink. And we think that's a really good spot to be after so many years that we've been doing business. Feel really good about the platform that we have. Was proven out during our whole COVID experience. You want to make sure you had hot water and clean water. As you would expect, all of our employees stepped up, did all the right things. So what do we look like today? Well, we're still in Milwaukee, and down the road there, we have our corporate headquarters there, and a couple of buildings. This is home for us. You know, there's people that talk about Southern hospitality and Midwest values. That's true. I lived in Tennessee. I know about Southern hospitality, and I also lived here, and I know about Midwest values and work ethic and getting up every day and making sure that we do the right thing. The company's about 12,000 employees now, globally, and has always put innovation in its people in the forefront. This is what we look like today. We just finished up last year, just the $3.9 billion business. You see our brands there. There's a very good chance that 4 of you in 10 have one of our water heaters in your house today, one of our brands. And there's probably a better chance, about almost 6 in 10, if you have a commercial establishment, that you have one of our products in there as well. So we're leading brands in those categories, but more importantly, we're leading brands in the higher efficiency side of this. We want to move the industry up. There's a push on decarbonization, electrification. We're part of that as an organization. And then you see on the right there, even though it's a business that's relatively small for us and relatively new, water treatment, it probably has the most potential. And we feel the best about our technology and being able to take care of people. And make sure you trust us when you have our product, that when you pour a glass of water and you look at it, you can't tell. Does it have, bacteria, biologicals, and that? If it has A.O. Smith's name on it, it's going to take those bacteria and those contaminants out. We're also proud that in 2017, we joined the S&P 500 as an organization. And what I'm real proud about is the Smith family still has controlling interest of this company. And so a lot of what they've done over the last 150 years is still embedded in our organization. We take a very long-term approach to everything we do. It took us 7 years to make $1 in China. We stuck it out. And it took us 10 years to make $1 in India. But we stuck it out. Because we're looking for the future. But we want to make sure that the legacy we have continues after we're gone as well. So Lloyd R. I mentioned, he's the one with the mechanical marvel. That's our technology center that we have just right down the road here. That facility thinks 3, 5, 7, 10 years out. Always looking to what's next. They fail 9 out of 10 times on everything that they're trying to do, but they're trying to make sure that we're staying ahead of them from a technology standpoint. That opened in 2018, and about a mile down the road from that, we had a perfectly good corporate technology center that we closed. Because of all the transformation we had here, we needed to have a better center. Innovation is going to drive us as an organization. And you can see our core competencies. You can see that we, across the globe, that how we put innovation in the forefront of what we do with the number of engineers and technology investments that we do as an organization. And this is what we look like today. There's no car frames up there. There's a tank. But one thing that I know for sure, that this business, we have what's called the one cold shower rule. All of you will take one cold shower. That's it. And you will put in a new water heater. And so it's a great rule, by the way. But one of the things that we try to do, again, you see the full lines of products, and not only that they're high efficiency, but they're heat pump technologies. And there are a number of solutions that we have that we do globally. A.O. Smith is not a low-cost manufacturer. We do business in the countries that we do business only. So from the U.S., we manufacture in the U.S., and we sell in the U.S. We're in China. We're in China for China, India for India. So we try to customize the product to make sure that we're fitting the consumer needs and so forth. And so the water heater business is our largest business today. Water treatment it goes from softening water to carbon systems to ultraviolet to RO systems, and a combination of all of them. And we do that for we don't sell them all, but we do that for about 5 billion people today in the markets that we serve. And this is a true global product that we believe will bring across the world eventually, because clean water is going to be essential as we keep going forward and as infrastructure keeps getting changed. And just from a factory standpoint, just wanted to give you saw the mechanical marvel. We don't do anything mechanical anymore. We do things with sensors and automation and all the other things that go along with it. And so all of our factories, and the big benefit from this is it starts out with safety. It's safer for our employees. It certainly makes better quality product, and it also provides some productivity. But the world's changed a lot, as you know, and you've seen it in your lives, and we're continuing to evolve. The factory that I used to walk through 30-something years ago looks a heck of a lot different, but I look a lot different too, so I guess that's going to be working out okay. And so you can see the things that we're using. AI is going to be a big part of what we do. And as we go forward and use this technology, again, we'll keep evolving as a manufacturer. Because A.O. Smith is no doubt what we are. We're not a sales and marketing company. We're a manufacturer. We make things. We make things that matter to people. So that's going to evolve. And then that leads into just our technical solutions. Everything we do comes around to make sure, because if you're out of your products or you're out of hot water, if you own a business, all that has to be resolved quickly, or you're out of business. And use a lot of the technologies that you see up there to get people back in hot water. And finally, I never thought we would do this, but we make movies and training videos all the time. We do a live stream video, and we have a recording studio, which when I started out, I gave somebody $50,000, and he said, well, if I buy a camera, I'll go ahead and make a video for you. It was pretty good. He says, well, you give me $250,000, I'll make a better video for you. And then it got up to about $1 million, and we make really good videos today and make sure that we touch people and train people for what they're doing. And as this digital evolution keeps happening, you got to bring people along. That's the people out in the field. That's the people who need to be trained. And so when they come to your house or our businesses, they put something in right and safe, and you move forward. And that's our goal. We want to sell you a water heater. In 14 years, we want to do it again. It's a very simple one. And I'll end this here, it really comes down to all the years I've been here. We start with innovation, and we bookend with values. The Smith family has had an influence on our business from the very beginning. These values that you see up there, not special. A lot of companies have them. I don't care about all the companies. I care about us. And we live those values every day. And we make sure that we can make some money so we can keep people employed and have careers. We use innovation to get better. But more importantly, the other three, we care about our name. We care about the people that work for us. And we always want to give back to the areas that we do business in. And our foundation does that and so forth, because if you're in business, you can sell a product, but we're not a transactional company. We're a company with 150 years of history with a family that keeps looking at us the right way and keeps bringing the right values. And at the end, they're what drives us and what gets us every day. If you don't live these values, you can't stay at our company. So I have a quiz. Who's older? By the way, there's no money in this. There's only it's only the glory of getting it right. Who's older than A.O. Smith up there? Okay, one at a time. Can't hear any of you. You're all right. I'm sure you all said Levi Strauss. And so they invented the riveted jeans back in 1873. And we came right after that on 1874. So that's who we are. Listen, thanks very much. I wanted to share that with you as an organization. We're very proud to be turning 150 years. It's not easily done. A lot of companies do it, but it takes time. We're also proud to be part of this community and be part of Milwaukee for such a long time and have that history here. And proud to be part of people's lives for all those years. And hopefully we've done our part. And the goal now is to hand it off to the next 150 years. I won't see that, but I'll be more than happy to make sure we get the right people in there. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. If you have a question for Kevin, you may use this microphone here. And as always, please keep your questions concise and topical.
This is a highly technical question. Every device in my house is now hooked up to the internet, except for my A.O. Smith water heater. I just know you must have a way to hook it up to the internet that I have missed.
Well, I know we can sell you a product that does that, for sure. It's really interesting is you always try to balance what people really want and what they really need. And we connect all our products. We have the IoT form. How many people here want to interact with their water heater every day? Huh? Well, you want to wake up, you want to go to your shower, or wherever you're at, you want to turn it on, you want to get the hot water, and you want to leave, and the water heater gets no credit. Okay, it's supposed to do that. And so, but we do try to build in sensors that tell you when it's going to fail, tell you when things are going to go wrong, so you get in front of that. And so, but if you do want to just communicate, we do have an app, and we can have that happen for you.
Well, first, thank you for my hot shower this morning. I appreciate it. The amount of transformation that your organization has gone through over the 150 years is amazing. What advice would you have for organizations that are trying to make those tough decisions like A.O. Smith did to move into the next phase of their organizational history?
Yeah, the one thing that we talk about, by the way, I wasn't part of every one of those decisions, okay, just to let you know. But, around our organization, if you start using the word protect, we need to protect that, and when you start doing that, I think that's a yellow flag that you ought to be questioning yourself a bit more about what you're doing. If we would have protected the car frame business, the company we sold it to was out of business in 10 years. So, when we look at this, one, you have to have a family that's willing to make really tough decisions. Again, I go back to that. But also, as things are evolving, you have to ask yourself whether you're the best owner for that business. Should you own this? Are you going to invest in it? Does it have a future? And I think those are the things that we ask ourselves every year from a strategic standpoint is, are we the best owner for all these businesses? Are this the best technologies to be in? And you try to get those right more than you get them wrong. So that's my only advice I can give you. Watch the word protect.
You have a considerable business in China. I'm wondering how concerned you are about the geopolitical situation with China and what you're doing to manage the risk that goes along with it.
There's certainly, it's on our mind. Our China business, we started in 1995. It was $7 million. It peaked out at 1.1 billion. So it's a very meaningful part of what we do today. And we built a really strong consumer brand there. Again, we're in China for China, so we have a Chinese management team and so forth, and have built a wonderful business with about 7,000 employees over there. What we're doing to manage there is geopolitical risk. And so one of the key things that we do on a regular basis is we make sure operationally we don't do anything that hurts ourselves. I can't fix Washington, okay, but what I can do to make sure is do we have quality products? Do we not hurt people? Do we follow the laws? Do we do the number of things that we always do in the United States? Are we continue to do that on a regular basis? And we have teams that look at it every day. Our expectations, when I told you about our values and our culture, doesn't change at all, no matter where we're at. It may be a little more difficult sometimes just because of cultural behaviors, but we expect you to get up and be honorable. We're going to take care of you. We're going to treat you with respect and be safe, provide those livelihoods, but at the same time, you're going to behave in the marketplace and make products that make sense. So we're still committed to China, and we will continue to be. We think it's a market that makes a lot of sense, but it's one that we're going to make sure that we do our part to not do something silly that would cause a problem for our shareholders and of course, our employees.
I saw that heat pumps are part of your product portfolio, and I think all of us are starting to hear more and more about heat pumps with regard to efficiency and their practicality nowadays. Can you talk about how they work, just fundamentally, and are they a path forward for energy efficiency and decarbonization?
Yeah. Remember, I started as a regional sales manager, so you're asking me a technical question, but I can describe that. A heat pump water heater is the most efficient product you're going to find, period. It basically takes the ambient air around here, like this hot air in here, it'll take it in. It's almost a reverse air conditioner. So it takes the heat, puts it back in the unit, very efficient, can be up to 400% efficient. Tends to be a little bit bigger than, because you have evaporators and coils and things of that nature. But I believe it's going to be a meaningful part of our life going forward for the next decades. As we transition away from lower efficiency products, as we transition a bit more away from natural gas and the decarbonization, it's not the only answer, but it's one of the very best answers you can have. The only problem is when you're in a cold climate, you got to be careful. Guess what we're in? A little colder climate here. So, but there's other ways to get that done. And so it's a great product. It's going to be a little more expensive, obviously, because of all the technology, but it has the best payback of any product that we have today that we sell. So it's really good for a consumer. And from a decarbonization, our goal is to keep raising efficiencies. A.O. Smith spends a lot of time in Washington, D.C., making sure that we can have a voice and talk about raising efficiencies the right way, because there's still a consumer out there that needs to be able to afford it. But high efficiency, heat pumps, electric type products, those will all be the future, and they'll just get better and better as the years go on.
Congratulations on 150 years. You look at some
pretty excited.
Some of the iconic brands or names in the area, and we've lost Alice Chalmers for not making enough changes on there, and as things have gone on. So when you look at the water heater business and mostly the tanks, where do you see the tankless coming in, and how does that work with what you're doing?
Yeah, I think they both have a place. You know, we're pretty agnostic to hot water. I mean, what do? We provide hot water. And if it's a tank product that you have in your home, it's a very good solution. It's a very economical solution. And I mentioned 14 years. That's what they last 14 years and use them every day. And so, and then tankless, a little bit more expensive solution as you go forward. And it's a great product. If you have a big household that wants to take a shower after shower after shower, that's your product. And we do them both. So, but it comes down to affordability. It comes down to installation. There's a lot of older homes that, quite frankly, can't always accommodate that. But it's our goal has always been just to have the solution for everybody, starting from this side to that side, and then let the consumer, if you can, make the best educated choice that fits their needs. And I think every product we have today, regardless of decarbonization or regardless of what happens environmentally and climate, is going to be still in the market to some degree for a very long time, so that we can provide hot water and keep everybody here in hot water. So,
what's your greatest threat to your model, and how you mitigating that?
Oh, this is getting video too, isn't it? The greatest threat, yeah, I would tell you from our side, one is just being complacent. You know, there's a lot of technology changes, and if you saw, we invest heavily every year. I tell you, 9 out of 10 of our projects don't even make it to market. Some of them get put on the shelf for a decade, and then when the technology catches up, and I think also not getting so enamored with what we do that we don't change it if necessary. You know, we just talked about tank products. I mean, we've made them a long time. Someday they may or may not be part of our portfolio. We don't know that. So, you know, I think the threats for most businesses is getting complacent, figuring that no one can come into your market. Stay paranoid is kind of what I use our people. I'm always paranoid, because you just never know what can happen. And we've seen so many things change so quickly, where companies were here today and gone tomorrow. And we're going to try to do our very best to, I think the technology innovation side is something that we do well, and we got to keep making sure that we invest in that long term.
Can you give me an understanding of the breakdown of your products between fossil fueled products and electric, and how you see responding to places like California that are trying to eliminate natural gas and other sources and go electric? How is that going to affect your business, and how do you deal with that now?
Yeah, I'll give you this stuff is important to me. Well, I mean, maybe interesting to you, I don't know, but you know, when we look at our products, last so long that every year we make in the U.S. 5 million products. Okay, but we're replacing products that are normally 14, 15, 20 years old. So the amount of energy and carbon that we put in our products every year, we take out 3 times as much by putting new products out into the market, okay, just from an efficiency standpoint. And I think as we go forward, having the electrics, having the heat pumps, having those other product offering, as things just evolve, we'll be able to manage through that as an organization. There's a lot of regulatory coming. We see it all the time. And we'll keep making sure that we have the best and brightest technologies going forward. And again, I don't know what we look like 150 years from today, but I know in the next decade or two, we're in a pretty good position to be able to address those needs. And again, we want to be part of the solution. You know, to fight something to keep regulatory not changing and not pushing up efficiencies and not doing those things is not what we do. We think you do have to move forward and you do have to be part of the solution and making energy efficient products that are affordable and that provide the needs is our goal. And we'll keep working with regulators and everybody else to make sure that that happens.
Thank you, sir. You've done a great job telling us about the company today. And Rotarians love to go visit companies in town. Is the technology center open for visitors from time to time?
It's open from time to time if I ask them to open it. So it's by appointment only. But you know, hey, listen, we love to have people come in and we spend time with showcasing what we do. And so I would just say to this club here, and if it's something that interests enough people, we're more than happy to show you around our facility, show you all the bacteria that we grow in there that we have to take out, and it's all skull and crossbone stuff everywhere, and show you our technology centers and what we do. Our engineers are very proud of that. And so if that's something, but not on a daily basis. You show up, we're not going to let you in the building, okay? We'll answer the door, but that's about it.
Thank you, Kevin.
Okay? All right, thank you.